Lunod ka na. You're already drowning. You have been holding it all in, every pang of anger, every silent tear, while everyone around you just keeps pretending everything's fine. And your mom says nothing happened. The family moves on. Am I the only one still hurting? If that hits close to home, stay with me because today we're unpacking what really happens when our emotions have been silenced for so long that even you start doubting if they matter. And by the end, I'll share a practice that helps you reconnect with that silence part of you, your inner child, and how to stop drowning in emotions you were never allowed to feel. In this episode, please a gentle note. We are going to touch on family conflict, emotional neglect, and the grief of losing a loved one. So please take care of your heart, pause or skip if you need to. Magandang umaga, hapon, or gabi po sa inyong lahat. I'm Dr. Nette, a Filipino-American clinical psychologist dedicated to helping Filipinos worldwide heal generational trauma through inner child healing, ancestral wisdom, and kapwa psychology. I was born and raised in the Philippines and I immigrated here in the States as a young adult, and I later pursued grad studies in San Francisco. And as a first gen immigrant, I bring both personal and professional insight into the healing journey. Having grown up with anxiety and trauma, I deeply understand what it means to face mental health challenges without support or resources. And all of my lived experiences inspired me to create this channel, the Brown Psych, a space that makes healing accessible while honoring culture, heritage, and community. And if you want to go deeper in your journey, I invite you to get to know the Hilom Collective. This is our weekly Filipino healing community where we continue this inner child work together in a culturally grounded way. More on that later. So, why does inner child healing matters here? There are psychologists like John Bradshaw, Alice Miller, Charles Whitfield all point out that when our younger selves weren't seen or soothed, those wounded parts stay stuck in time. And they're right. They keep up showing in adulthood as shame. You probably notice it when you're also feeling numb or misplaced anger. When you displace your anger to somebody else, like maybe your kids or another loved one. So, in the Filipino context, we're pakikisama, which means harmony, and utang na loob, which is the debt of gratitude, often outweighs self expression. That inner child was taught to stay quiet. Healing then becomes both personal and cultural, really a return to kapwa, our shared humanity. When you've spent your whole childhood keeping the peace, lunod na lunod doesn't mean you're weak. By the way, lunod, for those who don't understand Tagalog, means drowning. It means you've been holding your breath for years. And many of us were taught that showing anger was disrespectful. We learned to smile through the pain, to move on, to match our parents' calm surface while waves crashed inside. And suppression isn't peace, it's paralysis. Anger isn't the problem, it's the messenger saying that something was not right. As anthropologist Dr. Hocano wrote in Filipino Social Organization, Filipino kinship often prizes outward harmony, even at the expense of honesty. And when no one makes it a big deal, wag nang palakihin, right? The pain stays hidden in our bodies. And that silence shows up later as exhaustion, burnt out, or numbness. Your nervous system way of really saying, I cannot pretend and I cannot keep on pretending anymore. And we've gotten so good at it, making numbness look like functional, even admirable. We scroll when we're lonely, eat when silence feels too loud, or overwork so we don't have to feel. And these patterns were survival strategies from when it wasn't safe to express emotion. But as adults, protection becomes disconnection. And so I'm going to pause here because I have a question for you. Have you ever felt exhaustion that rest couldn't fix? Comment below. I'd love to hear your take on that. And so when our family acts like nothing happened, your body hears that your pain doesn't matter. Or I'm angry because my mom just went back to normal without accountability. That truth resonates for many of us. And our childhood trained us to move on fast, even while bleeding. So let me share something personal. When I lost my sister, when she was 15 years old, she was my best friend, and I was 20 years old at that time. This was my best friend. I wasn't also fully told the truth that she was sick when that was happening because everyone, I think, was trying to stay strong. In the morning after she passed, I remember walking with some relatives for breakfast, watching the sunrise. And I really wondered when I saw the sunrise and how that was possible for the sun to be still rising when I had just lost my best friend. How is it possible that the world is still shining? So during that time, I learned what it means to be told not to cry, to be strong, while my heart felt shattered. And maybe you felt that too, the confusion of being silenced in your own grief. And as Dr. E.J.R. David explains in Filipino American Postcolonial Psychology, colonial mentality taught us many of this to kind of equate strength with silence and sacrifice. But healing requires naming what hurt. Otherwise, we're going to just continue to numb and do all of those avoidant coping skills. So, I wanted to do a quick check with you. Because have you ever felt guilty for being angry or sad when your family told you to move on? Drop a yes or same in the comments so others know they're not alone. Real harmony, as Dr. David and other Filipino psychologists remind us, is built on repair, not avoidance. And if you had a warm, listening parent, would your reactions be the same? Most people whisper, no, I'd probably be calmer or kinder. And I have so many people in my practice, when I ask them this, say the same thing. And your reactions make sense. Anger is a response to unmet needs, not a flaw. Your inner child isn't overreacting. She's reacting to years of dismissal, soothing her or him or they. Soothing that inner child rewrites your family's emotional script. So I want you to try this simple mantra. You can gently tell your inner child that it's okay to be angry. And yes, you can put your hand over your chest. This is something that I personally do. And you can even put the other one on your belly. And you can simply tell her, it's okay to be angry. And you're safe now. And by the way, I want you to also check out my Pagbabalik na Loob, which is an ebook if you are just starting your inner child journey. The link is in the description. So at the Hilom Collective, or we call it THC, this is exactly what we practice together, reconnecting to the parts of us that were never allowed to speak. Because when you start listening inward, you begin to rewrite the silence. Healing isn't exploding or numbing. It is really about holding space. And I want to give you 3 steps to hold space for anger. So number 1, name it. Say, I'm angry. Number 2, I want you to locate where you're feeling that in your body. Is it on your chest? Is it on your belly? And then number 3, listen. What is it protecting? Sometimes the real suffering isn't what your parent did. It's not letting your younger self feel anger. So I want you to set aside some time for that anger. You can either sit in your car after work, you can breathe, you can write on it, journal, you can even do yoga or let it move through. But give time for it. Dr. Virgilio Enriquez, father of Filipino psychology, reminds us that kapwa means shared self. And true boundaries aren't walls. They're really bridges built on mutual dignity. Healing means feeling without harming. Expression without explosion. Comment below what's one healthy way you have released anger lately. Who's suffering? It's not your mom, is it? Well, maybe she is. But I know that you are too. And that question changes everything. Healing isn't about making her change. It's about you no longer abandoning yourself, especially your inner child. So say this with me. I need me to stop pretending it didn't hurt. And again, you can put your hand over your heart and the other one on your belly. I need to stop pretending that it didn't hurt. That's your adult self protecting your younger self. Choosing yourself isn't betrayal, it's repair. Now, one of the most powerful tools that you can also use as you navigate this territory with our parents is on boundaries, really healthy boundaries. And I've made an ebook especially for that called Navigating Boundaries Workbook. Say no without guilt and yes to peace. The link is going to be in the description. Inner child healing reconnects you to yourself, to your higher self, and that's where collective healing begins. And if you're ready for continued support, you can join our amazing community. It's called the Hilom Collective, or THC. This is the only Filipino healing community where we continue this journey weekly through circles, guided practices, cultural workshop events that honor both psychology, our Filipino psychology particularly, and heritage. And if you've ever felt lunod na lunod ka na with emotions, right? Like you're drowning with emotions, you weren't allowed to feel, you are definitely not broken. You are overflowing with feelings that were never given space. Healing means learning to breathe again, slowly, one honest emotion at a time. If today's topic resonated, watch the next video called Pagod na ako, when the Filipino family drains your spirit. It's the missing piece of this conversation. Again, this is Dr. Nette signing out. Maraming salamat for being here. And again, reminding you that our healing is our resistance. I'll see you in the next one.